Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch. Dawn rises cold and orange over eastern Utah. The land spreads wide and secretive. Red rock mesas, veins of limestone, and the shadow of the Uinta Mountains crouched in the distance. On this ancient ground lies Blind Frog Ranch, a place where the earth itself seems to whisper in riddles. For 4 seasons, it has yielded fragments of its truth, hints of lost gold, chambers submerged in darkness, strange lights on the ridges, and tunnels that twist like veins toward something buried deep. Now, as Season 5 begins, the ranch stirs again. The dust has never quite settled on the Olinger family's pursuit. Duane Olinger, the patriarch whose obsession first drove the quest, once called the ranch a living riddle, a piece of land that refuses to be understood. Around him, the team of diggers, divers, and dreamers has returned year after year, convinced that somewhere beneath the waterlogged soil and mineral crust lies a treasure that defies history. Some claim it to be Aztec gold, others whisper of Spanish catches or meteoric metals that fell from the stars. Whatever the truth, the weight of the unknown hangs heavier than any awe. 5 opens not with triumph but tension. The winter melt has flooded parts of the underground network the crew once explored. Caverns mapped in previous seasons are now sealed by rising water and sediment. The main shaft, once a portal into mystery, has become a graveyard of half-submerged equipment and collapsed timbers. Yet there is no turning back. For Duane's son, Chad, this is no longer just a family venture. It is inheritance, a legacy of faith in the impossible. Above ground, the ranch feels changed. Cameras sweep across trenches carved like scars through the soil. New rigs stand taller, fitted with sensors and magnetometers. The air hums with the constant churn of machines, but underneath the noise lies something older, a vibration too deep for hearing, too persistent to ignore. It's as though the ground itself remembers every intrusion, every hole drilled into its heart. The crew has brought new technology for this phase of exploration. LiDAR drones mapping underground voids, sonar devices tracing water channels, and geochemical scanners that detect metallic signatures. The data shows an anomaly, a dense mass beneath the western ridge, surrounded by a pattern that almost seems deliberate. The formation, according to experts, could be natural. But it could also be something constructed, something buried on purpose. Weeks pass in a blur of excavation and speculation. Trucks haul out earth by the ton. The deeper they dig, the stranger the material becomes. Compacted clay, giving way to rock that shouldn't exist here. Fragments of stone etched with unnatural precision, traces of metal fused into the walls. Beneath the flood tunnels, divers find small carved markers, their designs resembling Aztec iconography. Yet how could such symbols appear hundreds of miles north of where the Aztec Empire once thrived? The contradiction only fuels the mystery. Each discovery brings new uncertainty. The team's geologist notes that the rock formations bear evidence of impact, perhaps from a meteorite strike. The presence of unusual isotopes suggests a cosmic origin, lending weight to a theory that part of the ranch's treasure may not be gold at all but something extraterrestrial, a fragment of the very object that created the crater. For Duane and Chad, this possibility shifts the hunt from history into myth. Night at Blind Frog Ranch feels endless. The desert cools fast, and the machinery rests in silence. Floodlights cast hard shadows over the dig sites, and the wind carries whispers through the canyons. Motion sensors have been triggered too often for comfort. The cameras occasionally catch figures moving at the edge of the property. Trespassers, perhaps, or simply tricks of light and dust. But there is always the sense that something unseen is watching, guarding, waiting for the intruders to leave. Season 5 leans into this unease. The show has always balanced adventure with tension, science with superstition. Now, the balance tilts toward the uncanny. A pattern of electromagnetic interference begins to plague their instruments. Radios crackle with static even when the rigs are powered down. Batteries drain without cause. Some of the crew, hardened veterans of past expeditions, start to wonder aloud whether they are dealing with more than geology, whether the land itself resists being opened such narrows to a newly discovered shaft, unearthed by accident when a bulldozer struck an air pocket beneath the surface. The hull breathes cold air, carrying the faint smell of rust and salt. Cameras sent inside capture walls that gleam faintly, as if coated in something metallic. The space descends into a cavern system unlike anything charted before, a honeycomb of chambers, each layered in sediment and mineral growth. Somewhere in that darkness, the sensors detect a reflective object roughly the size of a coffin. What it is remains uncertain. Excavation is perilous. The walls threaten collapse, and the underground water level continues to rise. In one episode, a sudden surge floods the lower tunnel, cutting off communication with the divers below for long, excruciating minutes. When they resurface, shaken but alive, they bring with them a fragment, a slab of stone carved with unfamiliar runes and streaked with gold leaf. The object appears ancient, yet the material composition defies dating. It becomes the new focus of analysis, the key to understanding what lies deeper. Above all, the human element drives this new season. Dwayne's health has become fragile, his obsession tempered by the strain of years. Chad feels the weight of expectation pressing down, a mix of filial duty and personal hunger for truth. Around them, the team holds together through grit and trust. The ranch has cost them sleepless nights, near accidents, and more money than they care to count. Still, they dig, not for fame or even fortune, but because the mystery has taken root inside them. To leave it unsolved would feel like abandoning a piece of themselves. As the episodes unfold, the show's tone grows darker, more introspective. The narrative moves between the physical excavation and the psychological toll it exacts. Viewers see not just machinery grinding into rock, but minds wrestling with obsession. Blind Frog Ranch has become both a place and a mirror, reflecting every hope, fear, and weakness of those who seek its secrets. It's a reminder that treasure hunting is never only about what lies underground. It's about what gets unearthed within. Midway through the season, a new theory emerges. The patterns of tunnels and chambers align too precisely to be random. Some archaeologists suggest that the ranch may sit atop an ancient repository, a kind of vault constructed to hide something of immense value, perhaps spiritual rather than material. The geometry of the caverns, when mapped, forms a symbol associated with early Mesoamerican ritual design. Whether coincidence or design, the revelation deepens the mystery. Final episodes build toward a confrontation with the impossible. The drilling rig reaches what seems to be a sealed door of solid rock. The sound it makes when struck echoes differently, hollow and resonant. Sensors confirm an open space beyond. Yet each attempt to breach it ends in failure. Tools break, drills jam, and the surrounding soil shifts as though the earth itself resists intrusion. Nature guards its secrets fiercely, and the line between discovery and danger blurs. By the season's end, the team stands on the brink of revelation. The data points to something extraordinary just a few feet beyond their reach. Whether it is treasure, artifact, or anomaly, no one can say. The episode closes not with resolution but anticipation. The promise of more digging, more danger, and perhaps, one day an answer. Blind Frog Ranch remains what it has always been, a paradox. To the skeptics, it is a stage for speculation, a story too wild to be believed. To the believers, it is a living legend, proof that some mysteries are carved into the bones of the earth itself. Season 5 captures that duality, the clash between science and myth, between the need to know and the fear of what knowing might cost. Even after the cameras stop rolling, the image lingers. The vast desert stretching under the night sky, machines silent, stars burning above the ridges. Somewhere beneath, the ground breathes. Slow, deep, ancient. Whatever lies within it waits patiently, untouched by time, unbothered by human ambition. And as the credits roll, the question remains suspended in the darkness. Is the treasure a myth or merely a secret not yet ready to be found? Once again, the machines return. Floodlights burn through the early morning haze, their beams slicing across the terrain. The hum of generators breaks the stillness. The 5th season of Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch begins not with revelation, but with the weight of unfinished business. The treasure remains unfound. The questions have only deepened. 4 seasons of digging, diving, drilling, and daring have left their mark. The Olinga team has carved deep into the earth, following rumors older than the map itself. What they've unearthed is not just gold dust or old stone, it's a growing myth, a story of obsession, family, and a land that refuses to give up its truth. Each trench tells of a near miss, each shaft a promise that the real discovery lies only a little farther down.